Want to know a little trick to make almost any woman want you? When you see it, you're going to be like, wait, that actually works? But yeah, it worked on me, and I didn't even realize it. I met this guy on Tinder, and when I showed up to the cafe, I thought, oh my gosh, I got catfished on my first date. But then we got to talking, and I was just drawn to him. Like, there was just something about him. And no, it wasn't because of his money or looks, like nothing like that. But it was like this thing of how he made me feel. It was like aroused. And now that we've been seeing each other for a bit, I finally asked him, what has he done? Like, is he always this way with women? And he actually said that he was always kind of scared of women and he felt like he was never good enough to date girls like me. So I asked him what changed, and he told me that he discovered a PhD who taught him the power of emotional contagion. Sounds crazy, right? I thought so too until he showed me the video. And wow, guys, these techniques in the video are the same exact thing he used on me when we first met. This most definitely gives guys an unfair advantage over the guys who don't know this. I'm gonna play the video for you now, and make sure you stick around till the end to see the live demonstration.
Hi, I'm Mike, and until recently, I wasn't having any luck with this one girl. Then, I discovered a weird but very easy trick that made her start to chase me. It triggered the same emotion that I was feeling for her. In fact, I've tried it on a lot of other women, and it's almost always the same. I use it, they get triggered, and they start chasing me. It really works for me, and I found it works for almost any guy, no matter how old, fat, ugly, or anything else you are. Not only that, but when I used this trick that I'm going to share with you, my insecurities completely vanished because women started chasing me. What's even more amazing is that this trick can even work on girls who've ghosted you, girls who told you, let's just be friends. And there's just about zero chance of rejection because it's entirely subconscious, so she doesn't even know you're doing it. It's not a line or something that she's heard before. So I've never been rejected when I used it. And listen, since you were lucky enough to find this presentation before it gets forced off the internet, in just a few moments, I'm going to show you video proof of this almost unfair technique being used on gorgeous women for free, so you can start using it too. Yet first, I have to warn you, this is a technique that a lot of women don't want you to know, which is why a few small groups of them are trying to have my presentation banned. Like this social justice loser who had the nerve to say this about this technique. In today's progressive society, it's a step back to give men this much power. What she's really saying is no man has the right to trigger a woman's desire with this technique. And personally, I think that's nonsense. Women trigger us just by being hot. And I've come to realize, after years and years of hopeless failures with women, that if you can't trigger a woman to chase you, you're not going to get a girlfriend. Best of all, when she chases you, you know she likes you. So if anything, you're the one who needs to give her consent. It's pretty awesome when you can turn the tables like this, which is exactly why I refuse to let women like that SJW ruin my fun. So listen, I don't care who this presentation upsets. For the next few minutes, I'm going to spit in the face of all the woke beta males and the men should feel bad for being men SJWs who've taken over the mainstream media. These are the people holding you back from the woman you want. Trust me, your natural desires are not wrong. Women have them too. And wow, is it fun when you unleash them. The secret I'm about to reveal was discovered by a controversial doctor in Singapore. And the reason that some people are so upset about it is that it uses a brand new and kind of strange psychological discovery to tap into a woman's primal brain, the same part of the human brain that makes her pursue a man, because her primal brain is her raw, emotional, cave woman brain. In fact, when you tap into these deep and previously unknown female desires with this one easy technique, you'll usually just sit back, relax, and watch as that girl you want pursues you online, on a date, on your couch. So, some of the "we're fine without men" feminists are now trying to claim that this trick is deceptive, manipulative, and can have serious effects on a person's decision-making abilities. And of course, these are the same women who have been trying to keep men down for the last 20 years. But you know what I say to that? Makeup is manipulative. Facetune apps are deceptive. And today, the game is rigged against any guy who's not a rich, handsome social media star. So listen, if you're a jerk, or you're going to use this to cheat on a girl, or you want to hurt women, then please don't keep watching right now. But if you're a good guy who wants a serious advantage, then I'm willing to share this trick with you. I first learned about it after meeting my mentor, Dr. David T. He's a skinny little science geek who lives in Singapore. He's Asian, about 5'7", but when I saw what this man could do with women, and when I saw what women desperately wanted to do with this man, I knew I needed to learn his secret. The reason I sought David out is a little bit embarrassing. You see, the love of my life, a girl I treated like a princess and planned on marrying, she crushed my heart and made me look like a pathetic little chump. My girl, Ashley, worked at Applebee's with me, and one night after we had closed, I walked in on her and my boss, Randy. At first, I just heard loud noises from the kitchen, but when I peered through the kitchen doors, I couldn't believe what I saw. It looked like something out of a movie. She was so passionate with him, like she was overtaken with desire. And what hurt the most is that before she first turned around and noticed me, I could tell she was the one escalating things with him. When she finally did turn around and saw me, she gasped. They both looked at me for a second, startled, until my boss finally yelled, "Bro, what are you looking at? Get out of here!" I remember mumbling, "Ashley," and all she had to say for herself was, "Mike, seriously, did you think we were exclusive?" And then she went right back at it, like I wasn't even there. I was crushed, and like the little wuss bag I was, I walked out of that kitchen with my head down, without saying another word. Needless to say, Ashley and I were done. And as much as that moment stung like a punch to the gut, the worst part was being single. I didn't go out with another girl for 2 years, 7 months, and 13 days after that awful night. Yeah, I was counting. You see, I was doing what I thought single men were supposed to do. I'd hit up dozens of women on the apps, trying to get them to pay attention to me. Occasionally, some girl would message me back, and after what seemed like ages, I'd actually managed to get a meetup with a girl, but it always ended the same way. Either she'd ghost me, or she'd tell me, "Let's just be friends." Even the ones who I wasn't that into. And it really sucked, because I knew that if the right girl gave me a chance, I'd be great. But it got to a point where, for about a year, I just gave up. I stopped trying, and spent most of my days watching movies and playing video games, and my lonely nights were mostly spent on tube sites. Until one night, I don't know what got into me, but it finally struck me. I was addicted to these tube sites, and I knew it was time. Time to start meeting some real women. Maybe even time to actually have a relationship. Maybe you can relate to what I felt that night. And on some level, you know that it's time to get offline and find someone who's worth your time. Maybe you're frustrated that there are so many low-quality women out there, but the high-quality ones you want seem out of your league. That's exactly where I was. So here's what I did. I searched every corner of the internet for someone who could teach me more about making a woman desire me without being a sucker and paying for it. And by the time I stumbled upon Dr. David's website, I was pretty desperate, because I'd gotten scammed out of hundreds of hard-earned dollars buying stupid pickup products by so-called gurus. These guys would promise the world, but their products always sucked. But David's advice, it seemed different. And when I saw he'd been featured in dozens of media outlets, I thought maybe, just maybe, this guy is legit. So I started emailing him, and he started giving me advice here and there. And 3 weeks later, David sent me an email announcing he was holding an exclusive closed-door seminar in Hollywood. For the first time ever, he planned on unveiling a brand new technique to 15 guys willing to shell out $5,000. The technique was called the Desire System, and David claimed it was simple but revolutionary, different from anything else out there, and worked to make a girl chase you. You'll see video footage of it in action in just a minute. So I said screw it. Even though that's more money than I make in 4 months, I'll just put it on the credit card. After all, he was offering a full refund if the technique wasn't everything he claimed and more. When I got to Los Angeles, I was the first guy to arrive at Dr. David's bachelor pad, so I was lucky enough to get a little alone time with him. When I walked in, he was sitting on a red couch, surrounded by a group of 3 women who were all gorgeous. One woman was serving him food, another one was washing his dishes in the kitchen, and one of them was actually giving him a foot massage. As David casually greeted me, I looked at the guy in awe. I'd never seen anything like this before. So I asked him flat out what his secret was. And he didn't talk about lines, he didn't talk about good looks or fashion. He talked about cold, hard neuroscience that penetrates a woman's emotions. And he taught me a trick based on a brand new psychological discovery called emotional contagion. A trick that makes almost any girl feel intense desire for you on command and causes her to start chasing you right away. Yeah, that's right, instantly. That's what emotional contagion did for me, and that's what it can do for you. Because Dr. David's research proved that your emotions, even your most powerful emotions, like excitement, desire, and love, they can be made contagious. Like the words of a song you can't get out of your head. And women have known this for years, even if they don't know the science behind it. It works for love. It works for happiness. It even works for desire. That's That's why when a panel of young women on the internet were asked, is being desired contagious? They said things like, yes, knowing he's into me makes me hot, and people can tell when I'm hot because I'm such a good girl. Another woman said, there's never really a moment when I'm not feeling this way. And the third said, heck yes, it makes me feel so hot and I give in. But still, when David told me all this, I didn't believe it at first. Then he yawned, and of course, I yawned back. Think about it. Have you ever yawned only to have every other person around you start to open their mouth and just let out a big yawn? You probably have, and maybe you're even yawning right now. That's because yawning is a trigger. It triggers a predictable response in other people, sleepiness and yawning back. Well, as David discovered, there are triggers even more powerful than yawning. Emotional triggers that can create intense feelings of desire in women, so they become so incredibly turned on that they start to chase you. Now, imagine yourself in front of that girl you like. You let out a big yawn, and you watch as within seconds, she starts opening her mouth, her eyes moisten, and she yawns back. Then, you do David's trick and notice her slightly suspicious eyes turning into bedroom eyes that begin to start scanning your body up and down, and the conversation switches from a polite chat to a very definite pursuit. All of a sudden, she starts touching you, complimenting you, asking you questions that are out of bounds. Depending on her type, she might even start moving in more closely, cuddling up to you, and getting more physical. And yeah, I know that sounds like a lot of fun, and it is. And that's exactly what David's trick does. It uses the power of emotional contagion to trigger her desire and get her to chase you. Listen, when David revealed his entire system to me and 14 other guys that weekend, I was awestruck and practically jumping out of my seat to go try it. Now, this was before the lockdown, so we went out to try it at the bars, and 12 of the 15 guys had success with it that night. So I want you to hear from some of the other guys who were out there with me. Then, I'll show you his trick. I'm 5'4" and 245 pounds, so I thought this technique wouldn't work for a guy like me. I'd never even been out with a woman, and I thought I was too short and too fat for anyone I really wanted. But now, I'm a believer. In my first month, I went out with 9 girls, including the girl I've had a crush on since high school. Thanks, David. Ashwin K. Even though I'm the last person who would try something like this normally, I obviously had to give this a try when I was invited to the seminar. The night after I got home, I used this technique when I saw a girl who'd been driving me crazy for years. She had told me she just wanted to be friends, but now, after 2 weeks, she actually asked me, "What are we?" I couldn't believe that I was the one in control. Thanks, David. Edward A. I was skeptical at first that this might be a ripoff. This technique seems too good to be true, but I'm willing to try new things. So I tried it, and boy am I glad I did. I couldn't get over my ex-girlfriend, but after using this, she came after me hard and demanded to see me that night, and she hasn't stopped messaging me. I'm dating 3 different girls who are all way out of my league, so I'm going to wait it out before I decide whether to take her back or not. But anyways, I just wanted to write in and say this works. Tim P. There are dozens more success stories like these. But what about my results? Well, after I learned the trick, it felt like I had superpowers with women. Actually, it felt kind of dangerous. At one point, I had lunch with my ex-girlfriend, Ashley, who I would never take back after what happened with my boss. But I decided to try the trick on her, just to see if it actually worked. And within seconds, I could see the desire in her eyes. Her cheeks started to flush. So much so that she tried to drag me to the bathroom of the small cafe we were eating at. And even though I decided to wait until we left the restaurant, here's the point. Dr. David's technique can trigger desire in almost any woman on command. So when you use it, you have to be careful. Seriously, don't use it on your mom. The week after I got back from Los Angeles, I was in line at Starbucks, and I saw this exotic-looking girl who was 4 full inches taller than me. I'm only 5'6". This is the kind of woman I couldn't even have made eye contact with just a few weeks ago. Early 20s, long, tan legs, perfect body, pouty lips. But I didn't feel scared because Dr. David's trick had worked so often for me. I knew exactly what I had to do. And instead of begging for her attention or approval, like I would have in the past, I confidently turned around, said a few things about the weather, used the trick, and then she started moving closer and closer to me. It was like I was a magnet, slowly pulling her in. She literally ignored all of the social distancing decals and just kept getting closer and closer. After about a minute, I could see her blushing and twirling her hair. And what totally blew me away is when she asked me what I was doing that night. And after she asked me for my number, we made some dinner plans. At dinner, I kept using Dr. David's method. And to my surprise, this bombshell, whose name was Luciana, she was actually complimenting me on things I used to be insecure about. I was always ashamed of the dark brown mole on my left cheek, but this girl couldn't stop talking about how cute it was. My weight, my age, all that stuff that I thought was holding me back before actually turned into a positive. And when we woke up together the next morning, we were exhausted. And I have to tell you, even though my neighbors probably didn't get much sleep that night, for me, it was the best night of my life up to that point. And she told me that I'd fulfilled a fantasy that she had had since being a teenager. Well, let me tell you, when I heard that, I finally felt like a man again. For the first time ever, I was in control of my life, which is exactly how you're going to feel when you start using this. All in all, within the first 4 months of using Dr. David's method, I saw 49 new women. And unlike before, they were the ones escalating things with me. And the best part is how incredibly easy it was. I could use it on my female friends, my coworkers, waitresses, bartenders, and cashiers. I just used the trick. And within minutes, I noticed that I'd triggered her desire, that she'd make the first move on me. And how about the apps? Easy, because once she's out with you, it's basically a done deal. So, what is the trick? Well, during the closed-door seminar, David revealed the trick to me and 14 other guys. That's the good news, but I do have some bad news. Dr. David only ran this seminar once, and no matter how hard guys have begged, he's not going to run it again. But here's the great news. Dr. David filmed the conference. After a lot of pushing and prodding by me, he has reluctantly agreed to release a very small number of this seminar to the public. He knows how tough the shutdown has been for guys, so he wants to give them a hand right now. He calls it the Desire System. It's the only system in the world that uses neuroscience to trigger a woman's desire so that she chases you. It was designed by Dr. David and his team of researchers in Singapore, and it's designed to make any innocent interaction with a girl into a hot, tension-filled chase. It takes almost any woman you want from not giving a darn about you, thinking she's too good for you, or totally unaware of your existence, to feverishly triggered and chasing you hard. At which point, you get to decide how fast you want things to go. And best of all, it's easy because you're harnessing the power of emotional contagion to trigger her desire. This system makes every pickup line, strategy, and every other technique you've ever heard of completely obsolete because it's different from any product or system out there right now. And trust me, I've tried other systems before I met David, and they all claim to be so simple. Just ask a girl a few questions, figure out what kind of girl she is, and then stealthily turn up the heat on her while no one's looking. These dudes always make it sound so easy. But my problem is, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I can never make any of these so-called simple systems work. I knew there was something else to it. And when I was first introduced to emotional contagion and Dr. David's Desire System, the crazy thing was that it really was that simple. Because unlike anything else out there, it operates subconsciously. It focuses 100% on her emotions, which, as you've probably figured out by now, are the key to heart and mind and her body. Because with the Desire System, her whole body is telling her to go for you, even before her mind knows what's going on. So it really is that simple. It had to be. So a guy like me could go out with 49 women with it. And you know, even Dr. David wasn't always the ladies' man he is today. Far from it, actually. Not long ago, he was a shy U.S. foreign exchange student who couldn't get a girl to kiss him to save his life. But then, he stumbled upon the secrets of emotional contagion in an obscure psychology journal. Shortly after he started turning these secrets into his explosive system, David went out with 30 jaw-dropping women in less than 2 months. The local newspapers even wrote a story on his feat. He dated celebrities and actresses I can't name for privacy reasons. And now he's married to a perfect 10 good girl model. Plus, David operates the largest dating academy in the world in Singapore. But you won't learn the Desire System there because Singapore's strict laws simply won't allow it. So he's not teaching it in person anymore to anyone. Even so, you won't find a coach more sought after than Dr. David. He's just that good. I'm going to start David's demonstration right now as I tell you what you'll be learning in the Desire System and why it's going to work for you too. The one controversial technique to trigger a woman's desire. How to covertly get her to make the first move on you. When you use this, she'll think that pursuing you was her idea. And because she's trying to win you over, don't be surprised if you get hundreds of dollars of free dinners and drinks out of this move alone. Tommy D sent David a message about this technique saying, "Man, did this technique work good. The game is so much easier when she moves in on you first." Then there's David's secret method for women who blew you off before. It makes them think they made a huge mistake, and it gets them chasing you down. and trying to prove themselves to you. If you use this on an ex, it's going to instantly reignite her desire and every good feeling she used to have towards you. She'll completely ignore the bad memories, and for a lot of guys, their exes have begged them to take them back. David's going to share a super sneaky but 100% ethical way to get out of the friend zone and into the fun zone. It takes less than 2 minutes to induce a state of full body desire in her. David will show you exactly how. Balin G wrote in about this. Now, this is the ace up my sleeve for getting her chasing me. It worked like a charm, and the technique alone is what changed everything for this girl from work who'd been toying with me for months. Then David will give you 3 simple sentences that turn off the logical brain and activate the primal brain. When guys use these sentences with the technique, it's crazy how fast things heat up. And they're crucial if you ever want to discover her deepest, darkest fantasies. Now, if a girl ever challenges you or gets too rude, David's got another great one for you. Just do this one thing and she'll apologize immediately and insist on making it up to you with, usually a visit, a bottle of vino, and well, you know. Then this is really something. David will share his inception technique for implanting fantasies about you into her mind. So when she's bored, scrolling through social media, these images are just going to pop into her mind and her thought is going to be, maybe I'll see what he's up to right now. This is why you're going to have to be more selective. Seriously, it's crazy. But I'm now turning down these sorts of invitations. And when you're in person with her, David is going to show you the body language that makes you look unconfident and replace it with an eye contact technique that is going to trigger her desire super hard. Etim V said of this technique, "My favorite part is the eye-to-eye attraction, because what's coming out of your mouth is irrelevant. The technique takes the pressure off, and women get triggered when I use it." David's going to share 3 deadly sins that nice guys make. If you want anything other than a polite, nice to meet you, then you need to avoid doing these at all costs. And if you do encounter any rejection, David's going to show you how to recover and use it against her, just like jujitsu. It's going to blow her mind and trigger her desire, because no one knows how to talk to her like this. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So how did that feel? Was it creepy at all? How does it feel from your perspective?
Well, that was working. I felt like we were in our own little bubble.
Yeah, a bubble. Like then everything kind of fades away, so it's sort of like this whole little our own world.
And I almost needed to go to the ladies.
Oh, okay. Well, we can take a break now.
So what can you realistically expect when you use the desire system? Well, here's a pretty common scenario. Right after you use it, the girl will appear calm, and for about 20 seconds, you'll wonder if it's working or not. Then, you'll watch as her eyes begin to get wider. She'll start rubbing her thighs together, stroking her hair, and unconsciously touching herself right above her chest. From there, only one of 2 things happen. She'll make the first move on you 99% of the time. If it's nighttime, she'll gently start touching you and whispering in your ear that she'd like to move to a more private location. If it's daytime and you're not in a place where she can corner you, she'll aggressively try to make plans to hang out the first night she's free. Or, in rare cases, if she's extremely shy, she may not openly hit on you, but she'll still make it stupid obvious that she's been triggered. And in the desire system, Dr. David shows you how easy it is to work with a shy girl's emotions and let her feel comfortable showing you her wild side. He shows you the brain-dead simple moves you need to make. No lines to memorize, no fancy routines that give you the power to get these shy girls to open up to you and let loose. And unlike all of those times in the past, when you felt like she held all the cards, you'll now have more control of the relationship because you basically hold a joystick that is wired to her emotional brain. And you could take things wherever you want, which is great if you want her to become your girlfriend or even your wife, and just as easy if you only want to see her once or twice. So right now, I bet you have a few questions about the desire system. How much does it cost? Are my results guaranteed? And most importantly, how the heck do I get my hands on it? Well, we'll get to all that in a second. But first, I want to make it absolutely clear who the desire system is not for. Because of the nature of this discovery, David is only releasing it to a limited number of guys. So if you're the kind of person who's going to watch David's videos but never actually use it, then please politely get the heck out of here. And because of the advanced psychological techniques in the program, we simply don't want this in the hands of guys who will use it to do bad things. This system is only for guys who are serious about taking action and using it for good. Still with me? Good. Now, you already know that I paid over $5,000 to learn Dr. David's system in person, not to mention travel and hotel costs. His services are obviously not cheap. And you know what else isn't cheap? Paying for dates, dinners, drinks, and gifts for women. That stuff adds up to thousands of dollars for most guys. So, what do you think would be a fair price to finally take the control back? Start seeing as many women as you can handle, those girls who seem out of reach right now, and avoid wasting time, money, and pain on girls that aren't even worth it. What's it worth to be able to trigger her desire in just minutes? $2,000? $1,000? Most men would consider $597 an absolutely fair price for this power, especially with the bonuses David's going to give you. But that's not what you're paying right now. You're not even paying half of that. You won't even pay $147. For today only, the first 500 guys who take action will get David's entire Desire system, filmed in state-of-the-art HD video and hosted online so you could start watching it right now for the one-time low price of only $67. Just click the button below this video. Break that down over the next 2 months, and it comes out to $1.10 per day. That's roughly the price of a can of soda. But there's no soft drink in the world that can give you this superpower. The power to trigger a woman's desire subconsciously, on command. And I have to tell you, you're pretty lucky you stumbled upon this page when you did, because David is about to slam the doors shut on the Desire system. You see, David is issuing a test release of 500 copies today to see how the world reacts to this insane new technique. The media follows David relentlessly, and he's just not willing to risk the squeaky clean reputation of the Academy. Not if the media rips him to shreds for the power that this gives men, which is why, once the 500th copy is sold, David is closing sales on Desire for at least another year to see how the world takes it before he even considers letting it out of the bag again. So if you're watching this right now, congratulations! There is space left, and there's exactly one spot reserved for you. Your spot will be reserved for the next 10 minutes, and if you don't act now and click the button below this video, your spot will be passed on to the next lucky guy. This video announcement is going out to hundreds of thousands of men like you, so do not hesitate on this. And you can make your purchase with confidence, because David is fully guaranteeing your satisfaction for 365 days. That's right, you can test drive this breakthrough system for a full year, and if, for whatever reason, within that year, you aren't completely satisfied, if you aren't going out with new girls every week, if you don't somehow land that one girl you've had your eye on for months or years, heck, even if you don't like the way David's face looks, just shoot David an email or call his toll-free number and you'll promptly receive a full refund. But let's be honest, that probably isn't going to happen. Dr. David's Desire system has had a shocking success rate, and there's no reason that you would be an exception. Now, here are the bonus programs that David is including with your purchase today. First, you'll get Friends into Lovers. It's normally $67, but it's yours free today. In this seminar, you'll get an easy step-by-step formula for turning your female friends into much, much more. And trust me, if a girl has ever told you, let's just be friends, then you want this proven formula. Next, you'll get the Complete Confidence Hypnosis. This one goes for $97, but it's free today for you. After listening to this short, relaxing audio MP3 about 5 times in your sleep or at your convenience, your confidence will blast through the roof, because this revolutionary new audio program uses the power of suggestion to retrain your brain and obliterate any limiting beliefs or insecurities that have been holding you back with women. The audio does all the work for you. No drills, exercises, or affirmations. Just complete and utter confidence with women. You're also getting free access to the Endless Conversation course. Typically, it costs $97. This is the easy system that guarantees you'll never run out of things to say. So women will be hanging on your every sentence, and you'll be able to keep any conversation going for as long as you want. Also, for signing up today, you're eligible for a 14-day trial to David's Way of the Rake coaching course. In this, you'll learn the same advanced techniques that David's full-time students learn at the Academy when they sign on for monthly coaching. And all of this is free when you click the button below this video. I thought Dr. David was nuts to give these bonuses away, yet he insisted on including them with your purchase today, which means you now get 4 amazing, life-changing bonuses with your purchase, completely free of charge. It's David's way of saying thank you to the 500 men who are joining him today. Just click the button below this video, claim your risk-free e-voucher on the next page, and lock in your spot. The time is now. You're about to get access to the only system that allows you to trigger desire on command, as easy as yawning. So she pursues you like a heat-seeking missile locked on its target. You already know that this video won't be up for long, so if you want this controversial new system, then you must act now. Click the button below the video, start using the system tonight, and then go use it on the woman you want. Her smile for you, as bright as the sun, filled with desire for you. Here's what's going to happen when you click the button below. You'll immediately be taken to David's risk-free e-voucher, which will reserve you one of the 500 spots for 5 minutes until it expires. You'll then fill out the simple form, enter your payment information, and click the Complete My Order button to start your 365-day risk-free trial of the Desire system. And you can feel completely confident that your private data is secure and safe with Dr. David, because he's encrypted the checkout page with the latest 256-bit encryption software, which ensures your purchase is safe, private, and secure, and means nobody will know about your purchase except you and David. So lock in your spot now. Enter your email address and click the button below. Fill out the easy and secure form and get instant access. And what if you have questions along the way? Well, with your purchase, you get access to David's private discussion forum, where you'll get support and assistance from David's coaches, who are experts at the Desire system, so they can help you every step of the way. And if you've got questions, he's got answers. It all starts right now when you click the button below and complete your purchase. So right now, you have a simple choice. Option 1, the risky choice, where you do nothing. Let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity pass you by and give up your spot to the next guy in line and let him get the girls you want. You'll risk settling instead of spending your life with the sort of woman you really want, the ones so hot they scare you. You'll risk having a lonely and miserable life for years to come. Or you could take option 2, the right choice. Risk nothing. Click the button below this video and get Desire for just $67 right now, and dive into the only system that uses advanced neuroscience to trigger instant desire in women, which means your girl, the one you've been dreaming about for so long, could finally feel the same way about you. And you risk nothing because your results are guaranteed for a full 365 days. So if you use the system and for some reason you aren't overwhelmed with opportunities, or if you don't finally land with that one girl you've been wanting for ages, David will promptly refund your entire purchase. So listen closely. This is not a time for hesitation. It's a time for action. So go ahead, click that button and get what every guy wants deep down: complete control over their dating destiny. That's what the Desire system gives you. Start now. Look, if you haven't claimed your spot yet, you're probably on the fence about your decision, and that's completely fine. But I've got a very important question that I want you to ask yourself right now. What's it worth to you to instantly make yourself into a guy who can trigger desire in almost any woman he sees? What's it worth to you to quickly vault yourself into the top 1% guys on Earth within days, even if you're overweight, ugly, or old? What's it worth to never have to wonder things like, am I going to have to rely on tube sites forever? Will the girl I want ever like me back? Should I get a mail order bride? Because you have the ability to trigger desire in a woman's primal brain. You know the easy, effortless way to make almost any woman obsessed with you. What's that worth? $3,000? I've already told you that some men have paid much more than that to learn the system. Maybe $1,000, $500. I promise you, every man who's on the inside, the men who know this system, would tell you the system is worth at least 10 times that amount. But you're not even going to pay half of that, not even 20% of that. For today only, you're getting the entire system and 4 bonuses jam-packed with everything you could possibly need to hook up with pretty much any girl for only $67, risk-free. Even if you think you're a lost cause with women, trust me, you're not. And if you're like most guys, you'll soon be saying that today's small investment was the best investment you ever made, because the Desire system will change your life. And remember, the risk is all on David's side of the court. He's offering an ironclad guarantee. You've got a full year to test drive his wickedly effective seduction system and return it for a full refund if it doesn't work for you. Your privacy is guaranteed. Your billing is discreet and confidential. You won't get any embarrassing packages at your door because it's all online. So, I've got to run, and it looks like your reserved spot is about to expire. But I'll leave you with this: the 3 most important reasons why you need to act right now and click the button below. Number 1, there's only 500 spots available. It's first come, first serve. Number 2, your satisfaction is guaranteed 100%. Number 3, there are literally millions of hot women waiting for a man like you to sweep her off her feet, like she reads about in the romance novels. And it all starts now, the instant you click the button below and complete your order. So let's do this! Now is the time to act.